Quin Snyder resigned on Sunday. So this is the head coach of the Utah Jazz. And Donovan Mitchell, their best player, is described as, and this is a quote, unsettled, unnerved, and wondering what it means for the franchise's future. This is what sources told our very own Adrian Wojnarowski. Donovan Mitchell considered Quin Snyder a significant part of, his thought process in terms of committing to a 5-year max extension in 2020. Mm-hmm. See, for me, it would have been the money. Would have been all that money. That
Me and you both, right, Max?
yeah, right. I'm saying, Quinn, you're here. That's great. Hey, Key, but if someone else is there,
that's great too.
Is the same?
Nah.
Quin Snyder's decision has left Mitchell, and this is a quote, surprised and disappointed, sources told Woj. Well, hold on. Let's talk about this, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
What does all this mean?
Look, frankly, I've known Quin Snyder since I was 16 years old. He recruited me at Duke. I think he is a brilliant mind basketball-wise. I think he, obviously when you think about it, he has 372 wins, which are the second most by a head coach in Jazz history behind Jerry Sloan, who was a Hall of Famer. They've been trying to woo him back for a minute to sign an extension. So him turning the job down, to me, indicates like this team needs to be blown up. Like I don't see any other factor behind it other than it doesn't work in Utah. It doesn't. And if that's Mike Conley, if that's Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, this team had a 3-1 lead a couple years ago. They lose that lead in the bubble. So they've had the talent. They just haven't been able to get over the hump. Now, look, you bring in D. Wade, part of the new ownership group, okay, to become closer to Donovan Mitchell, to build a relationship with Donovan Mitchell. This is somebody with a championship pedigree that has built a franchise down in Miami on his shoulders. I don't see them letting go of Donovan Mitchell. I see them letting go of Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year, way before they let go of Donovan Mitchell. Now, if Donovan Mitchell wants to be somewhere else, Key, then he needs to state that. But Donovan Mitchell also not backing Quin Snyder and not saying anything publicly lets me kind of know, like, what else is going on there in Utah? Because if Donovan Mitchell really liked Quin Snyder and felt that way, typically, Key, franchise players come out and they speak about, I don't like that decision. Or how are we dealing with this? Who else are we replacing? And what other personnel? I don't
saying
see
instead of after the fact saying I am shocked and unnerved.
Well, he didn't say that. That's what we're saying is word from him.
Right.
But if you're a star player, LeBron James has spoken about, okay, like I don't like, or LeBron James didn't say anything about Frank Vogel. Okay, that kind of gives you an indication that he was part of that decision. Is that same with Donovan Mitchell?
But Jay, I know Quin Snyder won a lot of games in Utah, and every year they seem to be in the playoffs, and hanging around and in the hunt. But outside of the bubble, they really haven't pushed the envelope, right?
Oh,
Unless I'm missing something.
No, you're right. They let you down every year.
I mean, am I missing something?
No, you're right.
Okay, so no matter who it is at the helm in Utah, they're never going to get back. And I don't want to say never. It doesn't seem like they're going to get back to the Karl Malone, Stockton, B. Russ,
which also didn't get over the hump, by the way, Key. They
but that team was homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way, and I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it again till I turn blue in the face, which would is going to be kind of hard. But small market teams have to grow organically because it's very difficult to lure high-priced talent to cities like that. It's just hard to do.
Especially when they close at like 8 p.m. or whatever, like
8 p.m., right? They
close down early.
It's just hard when you think about it, Jay, and you played in this league. Portland, hard to lure free agents.
Utah's different.
Utah's hard. I mean, it's hard. Milwaukee is hard. Even though they was able to make a trade for Drew Holiday, Giannis in Middleton is homegrown.
Yeah, who was the forward that signed with Milwaukee maybe 8 years ago, and it was like for $15 million a year? And I when that happened, I thought, That's the first time I can remember. He wasn't even like an A-type, top free agent, but he was solid. I was like, that's the first time I can remember a dude signing for that kind of money in a market like Milwaukee. Key is right. You either get drafted there or they trade for you. You don't sign there.
So this is just my opinion. And, I've known a lot of players that have played in Utah that tell me they're not the most fond of the city. I think the city's incredible. I've never lived there. I don't know what that daily lifestyle is, Key. And this is, once again, only subjective, right? A couple of things that you hear around the league as it relates to Donovan Mitchell is, when we went through a lot of George Floyd stuff and Black Lives Matter, a lot of that was delicate for some people in Utah, right? How things were dealt with as it relates to Rudy Gobert. There were some issues there between him and Donovan Mitchell. I mean, there was a game, Key, where Donovan Mitchell only passed the ball to Rudy Gobert once. I don't give a damn what nobody says. If we're all on the basketball court together, Key, just by default, I'm going to pass the ball to you at least 4 or 5 times.
Come on.
So by one time, that is deliberate. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff about how they're managing all that. Personally, I'm not sure if Donovan Mitchell is the fondest of Utah. Now, he got a bag of money, right? But we all know how this goes, Key. If a player does not want to be someplace,
no to $200 and something million. I don't give a damn if you're on the moon
100%
by yourself.
I'm playing on the moon. Give me that astronaut suit.
So I don't know whether Donovan Mitchell wants to stay in Utah, wants to leave Utah. I'm just pointing towards, and I have not spoken to D. Mitch. I'm just pointing towards some of the signs that you hear from the inner talks around the league centered around him and the Utah Jazz. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.